Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video. This is the last content I have to shoot for the day. I just dropped my 2023 Album of the Year list. Now we got to talk about some football. All of the football has concluded. We have no games here on New Year's Day, so I'm probably just going to put all the clips together, and then tomorrow you guys will get that video. But yeah, a lot of playoff implications here in Week 17, I think is what we are in. Yeah, the season is flying by. My Packers still have a chance. We will talk about their game momentarily. Let's freaking go. The first game we're obviously going to talk about is the Thursday night game between the Jets and the Browns. Joe Flacco throws 3 touchdown passes, and the Browns clinch an unlikely spot in the playoffs with a 17-point win over the Jets. Joe Flacco has turned a seemingly cursed season into a charmed one. We have the Browns making the playoffs and possibly being a 12-win team this year. Who would have thought? There are so many things that are just great to watch from Joe Flacco this season, and he just continues to prove that he's still got something. I mean, the guy, 19 for 29, 309 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but I mean, Trevor Siemian, 32 for 45, he threw for a touchdown, and he threw a pick as well. So there really wasn't much going for him on that end. The running backs played pretty good. Breece Hall had 13 carries for 84. Jerome Ford had 12 carries for 64. Pretty solid receiving. Garrett Wilson had 5 catches for 50, while David Njoku had a god-tier week for a fantasy tight end. 6 catches, 134 yards. I really like what the Browns are doing. They are definitely going to become a fan favorite in the NFL right now. Remember, they had one of the worst single-season records, I think, in NFL history. And now they've completely flipped the script, so shout out to the Browns. Getting into the Saturday game, the only Saturday game was the Lions and the Cowboys. Cowboys deny the Lions on 2-point drive for a 1-point win to extend their home win streak to 16. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy. It was very much talked about. CeeDee Lamb could only watch from the sideline in the final seconds of the best game of his career, hoping it would be enough for his 16th consecutive home victory for the Dallas Cowboys, and it was. Man, oh man, what a game for CeeDee Lamb, but yeah, that penalty was pretty crazy, and honestly, going for 2 was even stupider, though. Like, no one's really going to talk about the fact that Dan Campbell actually went for 2 there. It was dumb. I don't know. Super questionable stuff. That was like the biggest part of the game. Everything else that happened in this game was kind of wiped because of what we watched at the end. But yeah, Jared Goff just did not play very good. I don't know. Oops. Jared Goff didn't play very good. Brandon Cooks played good though. I mean, the running game with like David Montgomery and company worked out, but man, Jared Goff, I don't know, 19 for 34, 271 yards and a touchdown, but the dude threw 2 picks. And he's going against an MVP candidate, Dak Prescott, who threw 26 for 38, 345 yards and 2 touchdowns with only 1 interception. I mean, David Montgomery got in the end zone. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 6 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, the best game of his career, easily 13 catches, 227 yards, and a touchdown. 2 guys connected to the Cowboys franchise, like him and Amari Cooper, recently have had huge weeks. But yeah, I don't know. We're going to talk about who should win the MVP, though, very soon, though. Let's move on. Man, there's a decent amount of takeaways you can have from my Packers last night, man. A, we don't need Jair Alexander, and matter of fact, we play better with him. B, Aaron Jones is back, guys. And C, Jordan Love can be relied on as a franchise quarterback. I don't know. I mean, Packers take control of their playoff spot on Jordan Love's 4-touchdown night and a 23-point cruise past the Vikings. Jordan Love and Aaron Jones put on party hats and popped a sparkling drink in the apex of an all-night celebration for the Green Bay Packers. We control our destiny. It's literally exactly like last year, and it's against a division rival. Hopefully we don't see what happened last year. We need to beat the Bears. It's simple as that, But Jaden Reed was crazy, man. He played amazing. Aaron Jones with that interesting squabble at the end. Kirk Cousins hyping him up before the game was a pretty cool highlight. I really respect Kirk Cousins, and I respect a decent amount of players on the Vikings. But yeah, Jordan Love, man. This Bo Melton dude, too, great. Jordan Love just took control. He's a game controller. I mean, 24 for 33, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nick Mullins didn't do much. I mean, 13 for 22 with a touchdown, but it's not like he played terrible. Aaron Jones, man, he is continuing to prove some things. 20 carries, 120 yards, And we have this Bo Melton dude coming out of nowhere on our lineup. 6 catches, 105 yards and a touchdown. We did pretty good against Jay Jettas, but still a pretty efficient game. 5 catches for 59 yards. Obviously not what his fantasy owners wanted out of him, but yeah. Without Jair, our defense is crazy. This is one of the best defensive games we've had all year, so yeah. Obviously, this picture doesn't really sum up how the game went, but we have the Dolphins and the Ravens, and man, Lamar Jackson's perfect passer rating helps the Ravens beat the Dolphins by, 37, to clinch the top seed in the AFC. Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens clinched a division title and the top seed in the AFC. Huge game. Isaiah Likely was crazy this game. Melvin Gordon. They have Melvin Gordon. That is insane. Zay Flowers went crazy. OBJ had some crazy catches. Just Lamar connecting to player after player. I mean, this is a really good team to watch. This is some amazing football we're watching here. And Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't win MVP this year for going 13-3, possibly 14-3, I don't know what is an MVP. I mean, the dude, 18 for 21, 321 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. Tua didn't play terrible. I mean, 22 for 38, 237 yards. He threw for 2. He did throw a couple interceptions. And Devin A-Chain played pretty good. 14 carries for 107. But, Gus Edwards got in the end zone. Zay Flowers had 3 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Tyreek Hill kind of keeping up with some consistency with 6 catches for 76. But, yeah, man. Like, a big thing from this game is Lamar Jackson should be MVP. Like, just give him the damn trophy already. I don't know what we're doing. Like, yeah, Brock Purdy's had a good season, and yeah, Dak Prescott has had a pretty good season. But, dude, are they really doing it like Lamar? I'm not sure, man. He's amazing. Moving on to Bills and Patriots. The Bills set up the AFC East deciding finale at Miami with a 6-point win over the Patriots. Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins losing was a pretty big deal. The Buffalo Bills acquired cornerback Rasul Douglas at the trade deadline to shore up a depleted defense and reverse the team's slide in the standings, and it really worked. Rasul Douglas has been a super influential player in their lineup. The pick 6 was huge this game, really won them the game. Ezekiel Elliott played pretty good. Josh Allen just pushing into the end zone. Obviously a lot of teams around the league are adopting that play. Bailey Zappi ran for a touchdown, I guess, but yeah. Bailey Zappi really didn't play that good. 16 for 26, 209 yards, 3 freaking interceptions. And Josh Allen played okay, 15 for 30, 169 yards. He threw for a pick. Zeke Elliott got in the end zone. Harris for the Patriots had 2 catches for 54, while Dalton Kincaid had a pretty good game, 4 catches for 87. Yeah, shout out to the Bills. They could still take the division, which is crazy. I feel like the Dolphins should have had the division by now, but they had a couple of collapses, so it is what it is. After how the Bears have looked at some points of the season, you would think that they are not making the playoffs, but they're keeping themselves alive here. Huge win over the Falcons. Justin Fields and DJ Moore lead the way. The Bears deal the Falcons hopes a big blow. I'm pretty sure they're damn near out of it. They beat them by 20. Justin Fields noticed the smoke in the air and the cigars on the table as he walked in the locker room. And yeah, the celebration was underway. The Instagram Live is all over TikTok. I think it's funny. Yeah, Justin Fields running for touchdowns. Huge plays for like Kyler Gordon on the defense. Heineke got in the end zone a couple of times, I think. Tyreek Stevenson's got an interception. Huge game for the defense. The run game and the defense for the Bears was on one in this game. But Taylor Heineke threw for 163 yards, had a touchdown. 3 interceptions, though. This is probably the best the Bears defense has looked in a little while. Jay Fields, 20 for 32, 268 yards, and a touchdown. Bijan had a pretty good game, 15 carries for 75. Khalil Herbert, 18 carries, 124 yards, and a touchdown. An absolute monster game out of him. Tyler Algier had a 75-yard reception for a touchdown. DJ Moore had 9 catches, 159 yards, and a touchdown. He's been proving why he's one of the best deep threat receivers in the league. I mean, he's top 10 in receiving yards and touchdowns, and he's top 20 in receptions this season. So, he's easily a top-tier wide receiver. But yeah, shout out to DJ Moore, shout out to Jay Fields and the Bears. This game against us next week should be a blast. I will definitely be watching the full thing. A lot of playoff implications there. It's going to be a good one, boys. Next, we will get into the Raiders and the Colts game. Jonathan Taylor and Gardner Minshew helped the Colts stay in the AFC playoff chase with a 3-point win over the Raiders. Huge win for them. Jonathan Taylor and Gardner Minshew spent all week talking about the need to take advantage of this week's big opportunity to stay in the playoff race, because it takes a lot to make the playoffs in the AFC now. Jonathan Taylor, huge game. The blocked field goal and the offsides call was a pretty big deal. Devontae Adams, though, Devontae was playing amazing. Trey Sermon had a touchdown, or had a huge play. Gardner Minshew was throwing dimes. I mean, what more is there to say? Gardner Minshew, 15 for 23, 224 yards, and a touchdown. Aiden O'Connell went 30 for 47 and had 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor got in the end zone. Devontae Adams got in the end zone twice, and Alec Pierce had that 58-yard receiving touchdown. So there were some pretty big highlights, pretty good stuff from this game. Shout out to the Colts for staying in the playoff race. Next, we have the Panthers and the Jaguars. Absolute shutout by the Jaguars, but Travis Etienne scores twice. The Jaguars end a 4-game losing streak with a 26-point shutout of the woeful Panthers. 2-14, man. A record-setting day for the Jacksonville Jaguars set up a regular season finale that will determine their postseason fate. Next week is going to be pandemonium. When you guys see this recap video, it is going to be wild. Yeah, Travis Etienne went off this week. I mean, just crazy stuff. Obviously, there was a lot of tempers flared, a lot of fights in this game. Don't know why, but yeah, Josh Allen set a single-season record for sacks from the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence trying to get back out there, man. But honestly, Beathard didn't play bad. 17 for 24, 178 yards. Bryce Young just doesn't have a supporting cast. I mean, he threw 19 for 32, but he threw a pick. Travis Etienne, great game. 16 carries, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns. Evan Ingram played pretty solid as well, putting up 6 catches for 60. So, yeah, I mean, this is tough. They got to have Trevor Lawrence back by the playoffs. I don't know who they're playing next week. They're playing the Titans. I think they could beat them without Trevor Lawrence. We will have to see. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence has got to get there by the playoffs, or else it's not looking good for them. Speaking of the Titans, we'll be talking about them at the moment here with their game against the Texans. CJ Stroud is back. That's fucking awesome. I love to see CJ Stroud back. I didn't see much of this game, but for a first game coming off an injury, 213 yards and a touchdown, that's great. Texans improved their playoff hopes. They win by 23 against the Titans. Yeah, when the Houston Texans selected C.J. Stroud with the number 2 pick in this year's draft, the consensus was that he'd turn this team around eventually. And coming back from injury and just giving him time in the process, it's crazy. Brevin Jordan had a nice touchdown. Will Anderson Jr. has the rookie sack record for the Texans. Ryan Tannehill, yeah, just huge sacks for the defense, just giving him pressure, giving him hell all game. Yeah, the sack fumble for the touchdowns, all that stuff. Ryan Tannehill, though, 16 for 20, 168 yards. He really didn't play that bad. C.J. Stroud, 24 for 32 with a tutty. Devin Singletary had 16 carries for 80 yards. D-Hop had 7 catches for 72, while my boy Nico Collins, one of the most impressive young receivers in the league, 7 catches for 80 yards. So, yeah, great game for the Texans, for sure. Shout out to C.J. Stroud. The magic continues. Getting into Rams versus Giants, Kyron Williams runs for 3 touchdowns. The Rams beat the Giants by 1 and clinched the playoff berth with a Seahawks loss. So, the Los Angeles Rams returned to the postseason after a year's absence with a little help following a game during which they didn't look like much of a playoff team. Huge win for the Rams. This is one of the most unlikely stories of the season. They're like the NFC's version of the Browns. Yeah, Kyron Williams went absolutely crazy. Mason Crosby missed a game winner. Mason Crosby? I thought he was out of the league, but whatever. Gunnar Olszewski, 94 yards for the house for the Giants. That was a huge play. I mean, those are kind of fluke plays that they don't get normally. Tyrod Taylor was playing pretty solid. But it was just the Kyron Williams show. Obviously, Matthew Stafford played pretty good. He's solid. I mean, 24 for 37, 317 yards with a touchdown. He did throw 2 interceptions. I think Tyrod Taylor did play better. 27 for 41, 319 yards. He threw for a touchdown. He did throw for a pick, though. Tyrod Taylor also had 6 carries for 40, so that's pretty good. Kyron Williams had 3 touchdowns. Puka Nacua continuing an insane rookie season, 5 catches, 118 yards. Darius Slayton, though, 4 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. So, yeah, shout out to the Rams. for getting the win, getting in the playoffs. I mean, if you're a Niners fan, you should be sending Kyler Murray and the Cardinals a thank you letter, because my goodness, what a game they played against one of the best teams in the NFL, and a team that was trying to get the 1 seed over the Niners. Kyler Murray throws 3 touchdown passes. The Cardinals rally past the Eagles. They disrupt Philly's playoff path. Jalen Hurts' desperation heave was intercepted to seal the Eagles' 4th loss this month, and one that meant so much more, because now they can't get the 1 seed. Yeah, James Conner with a go-ahead touchdown. Kyler Murray found Michael Williams Wilson a couple times. Hurts was playing pretty good. It's just that defense got cooked up. That Eagles defense. Yeah, this was a great game. Julio Jones had 2 touchdowns in the game, but it didn't matter because Kyler Murray, 25 for 31, 3 touchdowns. He did throw a pick, but I mean, he played better than Jalen Hurts, who threw 18 for 23 with 3 touchdowns and a pick. James Conner played pretty good. He got in the end zone. He played really good, actually. Got in the end zone. Dortch had 7 catches for 82, while A.J. Brown had 4 catches for 53. So, yeah, shout out to the Cardinals for getting... And it's not a huge one for them, but it's a huge one for the Niners, man. I'll say that. Getting into the Saints and Buccaneers game, Derek Carr throws for 2 touchdowns to help the Saints beat the Bucs by 10 and tie the NFC South standings. The tight NFC South race is going down to the final week of the regular season, and that's something around the NFL you can kind of look at as, again, playoff implications kind of start to boil down. Taysom Hill got a touchdown, though. Baker Mayfield played pretty good. But he did throw a couple interceptions, but at the same time, I don't know. There were a lot of turnovers this game for the Bucs. Derek Carr and Juwan Johnson hooked up for a touchdown. I mean, Derek Carr, 24 for 32 with 2 tutties. Baker Mayfield, 22 for 33, 309 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns, but he did have 2 picks, which were pretty monumental for the game. Juwan Johnson, 8 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown, while Trey Palmer, 4 catches, 84 yards, and a touchdown. 2 receivers that you wouldn't have, were kind of unexpected to have big games for both of these teams. But yeah, the NFC South is going to be so sick. I can't wait. Next week for football is going to be so interesting. I'm going to be writing some notes, taking out everything into account, and looking at playoff implications. It's going to be entertaining, man. One of the big questions coming into the week was whether or not Brock Purdy was going to be able to bounce back from a pretty horrific game against the Ravens. And he did. He bounced back. The Niners clinched the NFC's top seed by beating the Commanders by 17. Minutes after rolling to a victory at Washington, the San Francisco 49ers watched the final minute of Philadelphia's game at Arizona together in the visiting locker room, and man, were they happy. I mean, Brock Purdy also having one of those vintage moments in his career, just rolling out, finding someone in the end zone. It was great. Lamar had an interception, just dime after dime from Purdy, though. Charvarius Ward got a pick. Elijah Mitchell was getting into the end zone. They utilized their players so freaking well, dude. Gotta give him credit. Brock Purdy, 22 for 28, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. He played a pretty good football game. Bailey Howell, or who the hell was Bailey Howell? Sam Howell, 17 for 28. He threw for a touchdown, but he had 2 interceptions. Let's see. Elijah Mitchell got in the end zone. Brandon Ayuk had 7 catches, 114 yards, and a touchdown, while Terry McLaurin had 4 catches for 61 with a touchdown. And, shout out to the Niners. That's just taking care of business right there. That's all it is. Next, we are going to talk about the Steelers and the Seahawks. The Steelers keep their playoff hopes alive into Week 18 with a 7-point win over the Steelers. The punishing runs from Najee Harris and Jalen Warren and a handful of clutch throws from Mason Rudolph have lifted the Pittsburgh Steelers into the final week of the regular season with their playoff hopes still alive. Najee Harris played a great. Their running game was just kind of insane this week. It was, man. Running through the pile, pushing everything, powering into the end zone, jumping into the end zone, doing a little bit of everything. Jackson Smith-Njigba played pretty good. Kenneth Walker played pretty good for the Seahawks, but it was the Steelers yesterday that took the show. Mason Rudolph, 18 for 24, 274 yards. Good game for him. Geno Smith, 23 for 33, 290 yards with a touchdown. Good game for him as well. Freaking Najee Harris, 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker had 10 carries for 53 with a touchdown. Good games between the receivers, too. Great battle. George Pickens, 7 catches, 131 yards, while DK Metcalf had 5 catches for 106 yards. So a really entertaining, really fun matchup, really good offensive stuff. If you wanted an offensive game, there you had it. Next game we are going to talk about is the Bengals and the Chiefs. Harrison Butker hit 6 field goals. He kicks the Chiefs to the AFC West title with an 8-point win over the Bengals. The Kansas City Chiefs have grown accustomed to wrapping up the AFC West by the middle of December. That wasn't the case here. We did it around New Year's. A couple weeks a little late. Holding off the Bengals in the final minutes, they were able to clinch the division. Jamar Chase and L'Jarius Sneed kind of got into a fight. Mahomes just did a really good job this game at keeping drives alive, keeping the Chiefs in it. Jake Browning played pretty good, okay. There were some fights on the sideline between some Chiefs teammates. It was a weird game. Jake Browning, 19 for 33, 197 yards and a touchdown. Pat Mahomes went 21 for 29, 245 yards and a touchdown. Isaac frickin' Pacheco, dude. 18 carries, 130 yards, insane game. Jamar Chase had 3 catches for 41, while the rookie Rashee Rice, who ever since Taylor Swift started going to Chiefs games, has taken over for Travis Kelce receiving-wise. That man is distracted. But Rashee Rice, 5 catches, 127 yards. He is a beast. He is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL. As a rookie, he's top 25 in receptions, top 30 in yards, top 15 in touchdowns. I mean, it's really dope. Like, as a rookie to be able to do that is a pretty big feat. So, shout out to the Chiefs, and yeah. The last game of the week to talk about was the Chargers and the Broncos, and we finally have a game that kind of gave us some poverty football. Stidham uneven in the first start in place of Russell Wilson. Jarrett Stidham, as the Broncos rely on the defense to beat the Chargers by 7. So apparently Jarrett Stidham, or whatever his name is going to get the starting role over Russell Wilson. They had some really interesting plans. There were some really interesting headlines this week. But yeah, the Denver Broncos got that spark they were looking for with a quarterback switch from their defense. Why the hell is Russell Wilson getting let go by this damn team? I don't know, Lil Jordan Humphrey had a touchdown. Yeah, Broncos barely hung on. The onside kick, it was close. Cameron Dicker missed some field goals. It was weird, man. They were throwing shit at the wall, man. I don't know what the hell the Chargers were doing. Fake punts, missed field goals. It was a bizarre game. But Easton Stick threw 24 for 38, while Jarrett, whatever I said. Fuck. Jarrett Stidham, 20 for 32, 225 yards and a touchdown. Pretty solid for a start. Jordan McLaughlin had 8 carries for 44. Erickson for the Chargers, whoever the hell that is, he had 7 catches for 98, while Lil Jordan Humphrey, man, what a name that is, had 2 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. So yeah, that is going to wrap it up for the week. Week 18 is going to be super interesting, all sorts of good matchups. Saturday, 2 good games, Steelers, Ravens, Texans, Colts. You don't want to miss those. I'm hyped for the Packers playing the Bears, a lot of playoff implications. The Browns play the Bengals next week. You get, what other games we got? Looking. Rams, Niners will be a really fun game. Bills, Dolphins is going to be an amazing Sunday night game, probably game of the week. It's a battle for the division. But, I'm out, guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, GZTV. As always, giving you guys the best NFL content out there, recap content. Peace out, everyone.